Hello! Welcome to my studio in Denton, Texas. My name is Liss LaFleur and I identify as a research-based interdisciplinary artist. I produce video art, new media art, installation art, and performance artworks. So the main piece in this exhibition, Don't Worry Baby, is the third artwork in an ongoing series called the Sapphic Serenade series, and it combines video performance and synthetic fringe to create an immersive video installation. I conceived of this work in 2015, which is when I started creating the first artwork in the series, which is called You Belong to Me, and I got really interested in exploring fringe as a material, as a screen material for my video installations, as something that can stand in for a screen, but is not really a screen. And I also got really interested in lip sync performance as a way to open up new discourse around queer identity. So in my practice, I use lip syncing as a way to confront or imitate reality, or to reflect on popular culture, or even to create a new form of fantasy. Lip syncing has a long history from vaudeville to drag performances today, contemporary drag. And in my installations and my use of lip sync, I'm really interested in slow motion as a renegotiation of time and space. So all of the work is extremely slow. The lip sync is slow. The performance is durational for the camera. And the songs that I'm selecting, I kind of imagine that there's this jukebox that exists somewhere with all of these love songs between 1950 and 1970 that include the word baby in them, and that's kind of like the parameters of how I pick a song for the series. And I'm revisiting these songs through popular culture, from popular culture, to explore queerness and survival and compassion and solidarity. So the song in this artwork is the Beach Boys' 1964 song, Don't Worry Baby, which was originally written by a white cis man to explain his love for his partner, which was a woman, and his car. So I'm repurposing this through a drag king persona lip sync performance to explore what queerness could have looked like in a kind of faux nostalgia or revisiting that time period. So this far in the series, I've developed 3 personas: the femme, the baby Butch, and now the drag king persona. And I'm really interested in multiplicity of identity and how, as a queer person, I can explore performing for the camera in a way that expands the binary and expands ideas of gender, performance, and identity politics. So each of the characters is developed around the song that I've selected, as well as the color that I've selected. So for this installation, I've selected purple, which is a transformative color that has connotations with transformation and death, and everything from Prince within popular culture to Barney as a kid's character. But I am really interested in the color purple as a space to embody a strong, masculine, queer identifying figure for this performance. So installed in this exhibition is also the first artwork in a new series called the Burning Butch series. And again, this Burning Butch references the Lesbian Avengers, or newspaper articles about the Lesbian Avengers. But I am interested in exploring the lived experiences. So where the immersive installations propose a faux or fictionalized identity, I'm now interested in counterpointing that to an actual lived identity and experience of a queer ancestor. So to produce this work, I started researching at the Lesbian Herstory Archives, which is one of the largest, it is the largest archive of lesbian materials and ephemera in the world. And I started searching for queer, lesbian, identifying individuals between 1950 and 1970, the same time period as these popular songs and the same time period that I'm developing these characters. So the image that I landed on for this exhibition is titled Jill Johnston Reclining on a Roof in Cape Cod. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Jill Johnston was a famous critic and feminist writer. She also spearheaded ideas of lesbian separatism in the 1970s. So for me, searching through archives is a form of digital excavation, and through technology, I'm really interested in how I can talk back, how I can have a contemporary conversation with queer ancestors, with these folks that existed and lived through and survived this time period. So it really kind of becomes a parallel or a shared space at that point. So this persona that I've developed for Don't Worry Baby exists in the same space now as a lived experience that references a lived experience of an actual queer person from that time period, the same time period. So it really kind of comes full circle. And with the new work, you can't recognize the archival image in the new image, right? So it's through the same act of digital transformation, of remix, of obscure kind of practices that I'm using technology to utilize to produce these images. So while the main image is beautiful of Jill Johnston reclining on a roof, I've really kind of cropped in and aggressively manipulated the image in a way that produces a contemporized version of it in parallel to my figure and my persona. So archives are like candy stores for me. I am very interested in history and kind of understanding past, present, future, speculative future especially, and I don't think that we can project or understand any kind of futurity without understanding our history and our ancestors, and that is not just familially but also culturally and spatially and globally. So I'm really interested in archives as a way to enter into a conversation and talk back, and it becomes a collaborative process between my body now and their body then, and my collaborator is really, it becomes the librarian or the archivist or the people who have this huge task of maintaining and contextualizing and framing historical narratives for the next generation. So in all of my work, the archive, this big term, ties back to a lived experience, and whether it's through captioning or supplemental materials, all of my work kind of points back to that original source, and I think that that is very important for the next generation, and it's very important for the kind of context of my work as well as a contemporary queer artist.